Jezebel has closed its doors. How do you feel about that?
I hope Kotaku's next.
After 16 long years, Jezebel has shut down because they couldn't find any buyers. Nobody wanted them. They're owned by the same company as Kotaku and AV Club and The Onion, a lot of other rags.
Look, here's the thing. Like, we got a $20 super chat here from the Ninja from Pop Culture Planet. Son of Tarzan. That was a movie, right? They made like a Son of Tarzan sequel, I think. Yeah.
I'm just imagining like the next people that rent out that office are gonna go like open a desk drawer and see just the craziest vibrator. Just see like the craziest dildo in every Jezebel journalist's desk that they left behind.
What a
like, what the hell is all that buzzing? Like,
they couldn't afford it.
Jezebel and Feminist Frequency down this year. We are winning.
And Vice doing all those layoffs. The shutdown of BuzzFeed News. Like, it's a reckoning for all of these people that were running it in the 2010s.
Yeah. We should do a thing
over for them.
Where we fridge them. We should do a fridging story, like where it's like it's a woman, like it's a guy's wife in a Jezebel. Fridging is a trope that feminists hate, where female characters are killed to be the male character's call to action, and it was called fridging. So we need to put Feminist Frequency and Jezebel in the fridge.
See you later.
It'll be Anita Sarkeesian's call to action, so she can start
Sarkeesian. What a name!
Like Feminist Jezebel.
She'll
Jezebel
probably
Frequency.
try. She'll probably try again one day.
Yeah. Look,
I was sadder about the shutdown of Omegle the other day than I am about Jezebel.
It was so bizarre. I was like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
That happened. The Grand Theft Auto 6 announcement happened. It was a crazy day for news.
You know that famous article from 2007 that's been making the rounds on Twix again about the women bragging about beating up their boyfriends?
Have you ever beat up a boyfriend? Yeah, this is literally the title of it. I hope this is satire from Jezebel.
I don't know if it is. It's not labeled satire.
It's called "Have you ever beat up a boyfriend?" Because we have.
Like, if it's actual satire, it actually it's kind of funny. It's just not as well done as some other satire. But the problem is people cut out the clips of it, and then it becomes like people are like, "Oh, look at this! She's beating up her boyfriend because he's got breast cancer." Like, that was the part where I'm like, "Is this real?"
It says, according to a study of relationships that engage in non-reciprocal violence, a whopping 70% are perpetrated by women. So basically, that means girls are beating up their BFs and husbands, and the dudes aren't fighting back.
Now that's power.
With Amy Winehouse busting open a can of whoop ass on her husband last week, we decided to conduct an informal survey of the Jezebels to see who's gotten violent with their man. And it was everybody in the Jezebel office.
It's fake. The whole article's got to be.
Because one Jezebel got into it with the dude while they were breaking up. Another Jez went nuts on her guy and began violently shoving him. One of your editors heard her boyfriend flirting on the phone with another girl, so she slapped the phone out of his hands and hit him in the face, partially open-handed. Another editor slapped a guy when, quote, he told me he thought he had breast cancer. That's a little bizarre. Lastly, one punched a steady in the face and broke his glasses.
The reason for that, Mary,
he discovered a sex story she was writing about another dude on her laptop and picked it up and threw it.
To be fair, Mary,
he was totally asking for it.
The amount of women with testicular cancer was way lower then than it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More men get breast cancer than women get testicular cancer.
I mean, maybe not anymore, but
at least in 2007.
In 2007, it would have been a much different ratio.
This was one they forgot to archive on their website.
Yep.
This is just nice to see. It's good news.
Like, and why is it that you think that, here's the thing. Why do you think that these types of sites fail? Like, is it because like they just never get out of the phase where they're in the like investment capital? Like it's all investment capital from these firms, and there's very little in the way. Like I guess it's also the medium. Like, are people like beyond hate? Like, hate watching may be a thing, but hate reading is a thing too, right?
Definitely.
Hate reading is a big thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I don't know if they can really translate that to, because ad revenue is so sparse now.
Right.
Like, ad rates on websites are tanking.
Well, it's like sites like Kotaku. They are they pump out so many hate clickbait articles, and I'm guessing that that's like the only way that they're staying alive at this point, because a click is still a click. Like, they do still put out like guides and reviews, but look at titles like Hogwarts Legacy. These news sites refuse to cover it because JK and the evil history and the dark past of Harry Potter, but they still put out like 10 articles trashing it, but they knew that they were going to get clicks because people were upset about it.
Yeah. And like, I don't even have it in me. Like, I don't go trolling the Mary Sue for content. I don't, like, it goes back to what I was saying before. I don't want to just read stuff that makes me angry because it makes for good content.
Oh, right.
That's not.
do.
Mary loves it.
I personally, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that it's hilarious to dunk on these activist journos who think that they're better than everybody else.
They do think they're better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I asked for a fourth. I would like a fourth. I would like a fourth crisis party. Harry, it's funny you mentioned Harry Potter is one of those litmus tests for how terminally online you are, because the average person still loves Harry Potter and they know nothing about the fact that...
Absolutely. They're like, JK? People don't like her now?
I do want to point out that I do think that she kind of jumped the shark when she's like, I'd go to jail for my beliefs. I'm like, would you really?
She wouldn't.
I was like, I think you would. I was like, did you see Jenna Ellis when they convicted her against Trump? Like, she was crying.
I'm picturing J.K. Rowling in a knitting circle in prison with Ghislaine Maxwell.
And Martha Stewart's
and Martha Stewart.
It's the Martha Stewart wing of the,
and Elizabeth Holmes.
Of the low security prison.
Yeah,
right?
love it.
Like, it's just, I didn't buy that when she said that.
Yeah,
like, that's literally talking tough on the internet.
I agree, but
what did Brittany Martinez say?
Yeah, she said someone somewhere thought, hey, you know who's a great idol for women? Jezebel. She was an Old Testament whore who manipulated a king and nation into worshiping the demon Baal, and then was thrown out of a tower by eunuchs, trampled to death by horses, and eaten by wild dogs. Let's name our publication after her. Investors, yes, queen! And Brittany Martinez is the founder of Evie magazine, which is kind of the anti-Jezebel for a conservative female audience, but it casts a wider net than that. And Jezebel has hated on Evie magazine in the past, but
of course,
sore losers, right?
Maybe what we can do is we can get the heads of Jezebel and we can get them together with Anita Sarkeesian and they can start a new business venture.
Well, ironically, they pointed out that Jezebel's former editor-in-chief said she was mistreated by the company that owned them. She said, I've reluctantly resigned from Jezebel because the company that owned us refused to treat my staff with basic human decency. I will love and support my writers till the end and am grateful I got to shepherd this site through the end of Roe.
Do you think this is also, is this a woman thing? Like a guy's just going to leave and move on to the next job and not really think
Woman's
about it?
Woman's going to take it personally?
Yeah, like they understand that, like, even if they were necessarily mistreated, like they understand that nothing is going to come from complaining about it, so they just don't even bother.
I think they'll still complain just to complain.
It always just seems like one of those things where you're better off just because then you get labeled as difficult to work with.
Well, right. That is true.
And that's a problem.
But if you're trying to get hired by a similar organization that praises the modern day feminism that they're pushing, then it might end up working out better for them.
I just never understood the way in which these sites did I mean, I understood how they made their money back in the day before social media became as popular as it is now, right? But a lot of it is like they have a hard time transitioning over to other spaces.
Right.
Like it's like when they try to make it, like they try to move to like live content or try to make videos and stuff. Like the worst is like, if you ever watched like the Marvel podcasts on like the Marvel website, it's hell on earth.
It is.
It is hell on earth. It is like literally every minute feels like I went through like severe pill withdrawal, like opiate withdrawal for like 3 weeks. It felt about the same as watching like the intro to like a Marvel website podcast with what's her name? Not Anita Sarkeesian, with Sana Amanat in them. Like,
remember in the 2010s when BuzzFeed on YouTube kind of had a chokehold on younger audiences, making videos like, I went manspreading on public transportation for a day. Here's what happened.
Yeah, and
that indoctrinated a lot of Gen Z and millennials into feminism. But I think that in a way, that type of feminism, that like pop culturally relevant feminism, has fallen out of fashion because it's no longer edgy. It's the status quo, and every publication is peddling it. So if your entire publication is in that niche, you're going to have a smaller audience.
Because the Wall Street Journal has their own feminist section now.
They have their own abortion beat. So they have their own, everything that you have, they can do it better. But they're still laying off their employees.
What is the new feminism that people like then? What is the new edgy feminism?
Is it Barbie feminism?
I guess.
I saw people reposting the America Ferrera monologue recently.
Yeah, people were have been pretty obsessed with Barbie.
The monologue got reposted because people are like, this is so uncreative. This is like feminism 101. It's entry-level feminism. It's not intersectional enough, blah, blah, blah.
It's never good enough for them.
It's not good enough.
It's always a problem.
But then these other absolute freaks were like, no, it's good that it's entry-level feminism because it's for the little 10-year-old girls that we're going to indoctrinate with our movie. It's perfect to bring them on board. And I'm like, you're a demon.
A good general rule is if you have something to say and it sounds like it should be said with your fingers doing this, it's not good.
That's not good. Red flag.
Like,
they literally embody the evil witch from Snow White, which is why they cannot comprehend portraying that character in an honest way.
Right.
A virtuous princess.
Women can't be evil now.
If your words sound like the sky behind you is going to turn red and the angle is going to change to high or to low to look at you like this, then you're probably saying something kind of evil.
True. Yeah.
Right? I just, and these websites are going to keep going out of sight now as technology changes.
We're going to live to see the end of Mary Sue. For sure.
I hope so. Cross my heart and hope to die.
And when and if this podcast goes off the air, they're welcome to make fun of me too. We'll see who goes longer, I suppose. But the thing is if it does, I won't know because I don't read their content, so it won't matter.
True.
But if they decide to dunk, they're dunking in a forest that's empty, so nobody's going to know whether it made a sound or not.
Fair.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I also I understand because this type of divisive these types of divisive talking points do work. It's one of the reasons why I try to, like, even with the stuff we cover, right? Like, I want to be as fair as possible. I don't want to give the least charitable interpretation to everything that we cover. Like, when I watch a movie that's absolutely awful, I want to find at least one thing about it that I enjoy. I don't want to see the world through this black and white lens where everybody who sees the world just a little bit differently than me is somehow an enemy. But that type of content is always going to do very, very well. It's why the red pill content does so well. It's why dating podcasts do so well. It's why humor related to the sexes does as well as it does. Because being inherently inflammatory towards a larger group based on your own problems and world experience, it resonates with people. Yeah. The problem is that even if you're making it as a joke for a lot of people take it seriously. It's like when they repost this article here where they're talking about beating up their boyfriends. We don't know whether they were serious or not. I lean towards that being satire.
It seemed like satire.
It seems like satire, but the problem is taken out of context. People were like, "Oh my God, it's the worst thing ever," and it's not really that. It's satire. Good satire is actually a beautiful thing. But when all of these are done through the genres that are designed to break us apart rather than bring us together, I guess that's just, it's not hard to imagine why those sites do as well as they do, but they end up having a shelf life as technology changes.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they should have been on Omegle.
I can't believe that shut down.
They can go to Chat Roulette.
It was so bizarre.
I've never used any of these.
Rip to an era.
Yeah. Did you ever use it?
Yeah, when I was younger. It was like a sleepover, like, you go on this stupid website.
So what did you do? Like Mary was saying, what did you say you did? Like, you
type in an interest, so you put in like politics or something, you debate with people about politics.
But you specifically said like you'd argue with people about stuff.
You can argue with people. Yeah.
Some people just go on there to insult people.
Yeah.
What would you argue with people about?
It would be like Call of Duty, Xbox Live, trash talk lobbies. Like,
perfect.
You're a stupid idiot.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, with harsher
You have an
words
awful
than that.
poster on your wall.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.